I'd like to appreciate everyone, welcome everybody, and I mean everybody. It's good to see everybody again. And just like I told you, this is the second aspect of the program, the SOP. The SOP. I was thinking that the convener of our Power for Exploit will be available at least to give us an opening charge, but I want to actually appreciate him in the name of Pastor Emmanuel Falodun. He's been a blessing and he's been an encourager, a motivator, and he's the one that encouraged me to actually launch forth, giving all the information that I had. So I want to appreciate him in absentia. And another thing I want to say today is I want everybody, let's all be on our toes. The guest speaker in the house this afternoon, I've known her for about 8 years. I called her Dr. O. She's an associate professor of communication. And let me tell you one fun fact about her. She corrects my English all the time. So that's a fun fact about her. And as time goes on, probably she'll be mentoring one or two people on this platform. She's a very wonderful person. She's a born teacher. She had a bachelor's at the University of Ilorin in Nigeria. She did a master's at the University of Florida State University, and she had a PhD at the University of Florida. She has taught in several schools. I'm not going to be mentioning all the schools she has. She has taught in about 2 schools. I'm not going to be mentioning the school so that you'll not be looking for her and bugging her. So I'm not going to be mentioning that. So without wasting time, I call her Dr. Who because that is what our students here fondly call her. Without wasting time, I would like to, welcome Dr. O. She's a sister, she's a friend, and I've told you the fun fact about her. She will always correct your English. So join me to welcome Dr. O to our midst, and she will be talking about the second round of SOP. Once she starts, you know that she's a born teacher. She's a born teacher. I want you to soak in everything she's going to tell you today is going to help you in your SOP. And I'm also going to be putting her on the spot. She's going to be talking to us about cold emails. What does she look for when a student? And she's also, she teaches public relations, so what are the expectations? And we've had a lot of conversations. She has very strict expectations when she's teaching public relations as students about how to present their papers, the opening paragraph, and everything. And those are some of the things she will be sharing with us this afternoon. So I wanted to soak everything in. The Slido, I'm going to be posting the Slido link. It is hashtag SOP2_2024. I'm going to be posting it in the chat. So if you have any question, just post it in the chat, in the Slido link, and I'm going to be asking her those questions at the end of the day. So I want you all to buckle up, stay attentive, and soak in everything. Yeah. Then before we go ahead, I have one of my brothers. He's the one behind the Zoom. Brother Sam, please, can you give Dr. O a co-host access, and me too, give me a co-host access so that she can share our screen. His name is Brother Sam. Brother Sam, we want to appreciate you. He was the one, he's always been behind the Zoom to make sure that there are no interruptions and everything goes well in all our meetings. Brother Sam, we want to appreciate you. And one thing about Brother Sam is he's a doctoral candidate, he's a biostatistician, and he's going to be graduating his PhD this summer. He has a couple of publications to his credit as well. So he's a great man indeed. Brother Sam, thank you very much. Well, let me call him Dr. Sam. Yeah, because he's a doctoral candidate. And when you become a doctoral candidate, he's a sure banker. So Dr. Sam, want to appreciate you. Thank you for your help and support all the way. Always helping with the Zoom. Dr. O, do you now have access?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So welcome with me, Dr. O. She's an associate professor of communications at a U.S. university. I'm not going to mention the name so that you will not be looking for her. Dr. O, over to you, ma.
Thank you, sir. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can. We can
Okay.
see your screen.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can actually see it more.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in you know, whatever part of the world that you are. And I've already been introduced. Like, my students call me Dr. O because they are too lazy to call my last name, but it's okay. I'll take it. So yes, I'm Dr. O, and today I'll be talking about writing a good statement of purpose. What should you know? And we'll look at some details about the differences between a statement of purpose and a personal statement. Like Dr. Bola already said, I would also share a few tips about cold emails, but the cold emails part, I don't have it in my PowerPoint slide, but I would talk about that a little bit. I'll touch on that. So, okay, don't mind me. Today, we'll talk about what a statement of purpose is, statement of purpose versus personal statement. What questions should you answer with your statement of purpose? Writing skills are important. Like you already said, I'm very big on writing skills. And a lot of people, it's not my fault, it's because it's important. A lot of people try to ignore writing skills. They think it's just about the content. It's about the content, it's about the format, it's about the presentation, it's about the grammar, it's about the punctuation and everything. So yes, we'll be talking about that, and then we'll look at some examples, and I will be happy to take some questions. How much time do I have, sir?
You have as much time as you need.
Okay, sir. That's fine. All right. So what is, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. They already introduced me. So what is a statement of purpose? Sorry. Okay, statement of purpose and personal statements. One thing you should know about both is that they are both pitches. And when we say pitches, we're talking about elevator speech. So think about it this way. Think about both a statement of purpose and a personal statement as the opportunity to talk about yourself and to convince someone about yourself and your abilities in 5 minutes or less. So both statements are pitches. And when we say a pitch is a succinct and persuasive statement. You see, I put persuasive in all caps. You have to be able to persuade. And when we say persuade, in this case, persuade is not the same as begging. You are not begging. What we're saying is be convincing and compelling in your writing. Be convincing and compelling. So what are the things you have to put down that will convince them that you are the right fit academically, emotionally for the graduate program you're applying to? So you're not writing a statement of purpose saying, please, because, interestingly, I've had someone that was asked to say, okay, if you want to write a statement of purpose, what will you put there? And he started like, I would tell them about the economic condition and how this degree will help my family. No, that's not what we're looking for in a statement of purpose. What we want to see in your statement of purpose is what makes you a good fit for the program you're applying to. And we call it a pitch because you have to be convincing and compelling. You have to show that you are you're a better candidate than everybody else. You have to show and convince that you are, let's say, top 5. Why should we consider you and not someone else? We've got 5 slots and we've got 50 applications. Why should you be in the top 5? That's why you have to be compelling. Give them a reason to say, we have to accept the student. So which means you cannot write just the basics about yourself. Everybody can write the basics. I have a degree. Everyone applying to graduate program has a degree. So what's the big deal? Do you understand that? In fact, these days, people who are applying to graduate school now have 2-1 and first class. There's just so many of that. So that's not even enough. You have to be more compelling. What things can you tell us that would make us see you as an asset to the program? We don't want you to be a liability. What stands you out? So persuasive does not mean you're begging. It means you're convincing and compelling. What is it that they're going to read about you and be like, you know what? We have no doubt about this student's ability. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I don't know why my computer is not really responding. Okay, good. Difference between personal statement and statement of purpose. One, your personal statement tells us about why you're the right candidate. The personal statement is more focused on your personality. That's why they call it a personal statement. Some schools will request a personal statement separately from a statement of purpose. Some schools will only request for a statement of purpose. Now, when schools request for letter of intent, it is the same as statement of purpose. Purpose and intent are the same thing. So when you're writing your personal statements, you can focus on yourself a lot more than on your academic abilities. You will mention your academic abilities, but they have a reason for asking for your personal statement when they do. So it explains why you're the right candidate for that program you're applying to. You have to tell them how you have grown as an individual, you know, emotional maturity, your personal experiences. We want to hear all that. If you have a story to tell, those stories will be good for a personal statement. You can talk about your interests, you know, your challenges and your experiences that have impacted you as a person. How you've been able to surmount certain challenges in life. Now, that tells us how you are mature enough to also surmount the challenges that graduate programs will bring your way. Because trust me, graduate programs are very challenging. It is more of a test of emotional maturity, how you are able to handle everything without breaking down. They want to be sure that you are not the student that will suddenly break down, start crying one day and say, I'm not doing it again. It is too much stress. So that's what the statement of purpose would usually focus on. For your statement, personal statement. For your personal statement, they're looking at who you are. Okay? They want to know about your person. Now, for statements of purpose, they want to know why you are interested in that program, in that specific discipline. That's a statement of purpose. So think about it this way. Statement of purpose is like, why do you want to be a medical doctor? Why do you want to get a master's or a PhD in microbiology? How did you come about those academic interests? That is when you focus on your credentials and qualifications. For statement of purpose, we're looking more at how prepared you are for the program in terms of academic abilities, intellectual abilities. Your qualifications, your professional development, what skills do you have that will make you successful in the program? For example, I want to study statistics. Yes, we want to know what are the statistical software. Pastor Femi, please help me. SAS, R, Python. I don't know if Python is applicable to statistics. I'm just saying, do you get that?
Yes, Python is.
So when you are doing statements of purpose, we want to hear all of that. When you are doing personal statement, we're not focused on that. Do you understand? But for statement of purpose, we're looking at what are your credentials. How are we sure? Look at statement of purpose like, I want to get into the university. These are my credentials. I have my GC, I have my JAMB, I have these, I have my IJMB, those are the things that have prepared me academically from the academic perspective. That's it. Now, while the tone of your personal statement will be focused on your own interests, right? The tone of your statement of purpose will be more on what are the skills you have. I have project management skills. Okay, I have research skills. I have published here, I have published there, I have written this research paper, I have attended this conference. Those are the things we are looking for your statement of purpose. So for both, we're looking for both two things. One, your maturity and readiness as an individual, as a person, to handle the stress that comes with graduate school. That is personal statement. Your readiness and your academic ability to handle the intellectual requirements, the academic requirements, that's basically, yes, I have knowledge of SAS, I have knowledge of R, I have knowledge of SPSS. Do you get that? I have done some research, I have presented at conferences. Now, why do you need to tell that? Because professors here are not looking for students that they are going to baby. Nobody wants to baby you. You have to show some growth that you can build upon when you come into the program. Now, note this, we're not looking for students who absolutely know everything, because if you already know everything, then you should not be coming to our program. There's nothing more we have to offer you. So just note that. And part of your statement of purpose is to tell us why you'll be an asset to the program. What are you bringing to the table? That is where I tell students that when you want to apply to graduate school, don't just apply for the sake of applying or because you want to use it as a JAPA strategy. I mean, be intentional. What is the research you want to do? And make sure that you have carved a niche. There's something, you're filling a loophole with your research. You're not regurgitating what others have done. Is that understood? So part of your statement of purpose is where you also indicate your research interest. This is the area of research that I want to go into when I start this graduate program. And why? Your why will be telling us what has not been done that you want to do. As a graduate student, we're not expecting you to do what others have done. We're expecting you to contribute to the pool of existing knowledge, contribute something new. So you put that in your statement of purpose as well. So what then do you want to do with this degree when you graduate? Your statement of purpose should also speak to what are your career goals, your long and short-term career goals. Why are you getting this degree in political science? Why are you getting this degree in human resources? Why are you getting this degree in public health? You must have a reason, a convincing one. As part of your statement of purpose is where you also tell us why you're choosing the school that you chose. Why our school and not another school? So let's take a look at this. How can I convince and compel the admission committee? One, have a unique story. What is your why? What experiences informed your why? When I say unique story, I mean unique story, a story that is personal to you. Are you going into public health because, one way or the other, you saw how COVID was handled, or you saw how Ebola was handled? Did it affect you directly or indirectly? And, in the process of everything, anything can be your story, but make it unique, make it relatable, and make it sound like an actual foundation, an actual reason for why you want to study what you want to study. Is that understood? I want to be an epidemiologist because fine, you know, you can use Ebola as an example. We're from Africa. One of the problems we had when Ebola happened, and I happened to be working there then, was because, you know, we had one shortage of epidemiologists, so there was limited or little to no contact tracing. So someone has caught Ebola and we don't have epidemiologists to help us do the contact tracing to trace who these people have been in contact with, so we can contain all of them before they continue to spread it. That may be your reason. Do you get that? But state your reasons with references. Your story, what is your why? Now, another thing you can do, the next step when you're convincing and compelling the admission committee is, since the time you discover the reason why you want to study this program, why you want to acquire this degree, what have you been doing? It's not enough to just say, oh, so my grandfather died from whatever, and the reason he died was because there was a shortage of specialists in the, maybe my grandfather died of diabetes. And, you know, when we rushed him to the hospital, there was no, what do they call specialists in, you know, diabetes, nephrologists and whatever. The university teaching hospital did not have one, and, you know, and things like that. And I feel I can contribute. Yeah, that's a good story. That's a good story. But ever since then, what have you been doing? Do you get that? What skills have you acquired? What have been your achievements? Have you been doing some kind of research? Oh, I want to be a PR specialist. I want to, you know, do public relations for political PR. Fine. The question is, what kind of things have you been doing? Have you been writing columns in newspapers about, you know, political news? That's a great way to start. Have you been doing analysis of political trends in different countries? That is making sense. And give us proofs. Where are publications? So since the time you discovered your reason, what have you been doing towards that, your why? Okay. The next thing, what personal attributes distinguish you? Why should we admit you into this program? What new things are you bringing to the table? At this point, you want to talk about, do you have great time management skills? And give us an example, a short example. We're not looking for a one-page detailed analysis of a time when you manage time, you know, effectively. No. Effective time management. I mean, what are you bringing to the table? Why should we admit you into this program? Why should we consider you an asset and not a liability? Is that understood? And I always tell people there are so many free learning. How many of you know about LinkedIn Learning? If you don't know about LinkedIn Learning and you have a LinkedIn page, LinkedIn is free, and there are certain things that are free on LinkedIn Learning. How many of you know about all these Google certifications that are free? Do you know you can learn a lot of things and acquire certain skills free of charge? The same data that we use on social media, we can actually use it to acquire the skills. So these are the things that will show us that you're not a liability, you're an asset. Do you get that? Imagine if you want to apply to study statistics and you tell them that all you know about statistics is mean, median, mode. That's all you can do, mean, median, mode. Me, I'm not a statistics specialist, but at least I know ANOVA, I know ANCOVA, I know t-tests, I know independent, you know, all those, what else? All those at least show that you're bringing some, show that you're not a baby. Babies don't come into graduate programs. Babies come into undergraduate programs. Yes, those ones are babies. But for you to have had so for you to be a university graduate, we expect that you are not a baby. We expect that you have discovered your purpose. We expect that you are self-motivated. And self-motivated in the sense that you've started doing certain things to prepare yourself for grad school. Am I making sense? Think about it this way. You want to get married. The marriage committee is asking you, what do you have on ground? Do you have a house? No. Not even a one-bedroom apartment. No chair. Not even a mat. No TV. I don't even have pot. And you want to marry. You're not ready. Do you get that? But if you're able to tell them, well, at least I've been able to rent a one-bedroom apartment, that's a starting point. I have a mattress, okay, additional. Do you get that? So that's the way we want to think about it when it comes to writing your SOPs. Now, where do you end it? How much about that graduate program do you know? Now, this is the place where you have to start to talk specifically. You must have researched the professors in that graduate program. Not all of them are a good fit for you. They all have specialization. So if you just throw out a blanket statement and say, the graduate program at the College of da-da-da is the best fit, how? Do you understand that? Remember that you have told us what you want to do in your research. You have to show us that what you want to do in your research aligns with at least, no, don't just choose one, aligns with at least 2 or 3 professors within that degree program, within that graduate program. I want to focus on, let's say, for example, that I want to focus on cultural sensitivity in developing healthcare messages. That's my area, actually. And I have looked at the profiles of professor. I saw that Dr. Bolarinwa does something on women's health in Africa. Yes, it aligns. I have seen that Dr. Chigozie, I hope I got your name right, has also done some research that relates to cultural sensitivity in whatever. You understand what I'm trying to say? You align yourself, you're positioning yourself as, you know, I'm a good candidate to work with these professors. Show that you know what they have and their resources are what you need. That is why you are applying specifically to that program. So that's why you will find yourself tailoring your statement of purpose to each graduate program. So remember, we said have a unique story. Why? Why exactly are you interested in resource economics? Why exactly are you interested in microbiology? Why exactly are you interested in biochemistry? To get that, why exactly, I mean, what sparked your interest? For example, I asked someone that what sparked his interest was that right from a young age, he will always dismantle something about a car and couple it together when his parents are not around and nobody will know and the car will still function. He just had a knack for it. Do you understand that? He got so interested in it that even at a young age, he went to a mechanic workshop and was just doing training there. Not because he wanted to be a local mechanic, but because he wanted to get the hands-on training. Do you get that now? So, you know, tell us that story. It could be maybe a major life experience that really propelled you. Tell us. And since the time that that major life experience opened your eyes to what you want to be, what you want to do in life, what have you been doing to work towards it? What have been your major achievements, your professional and academic achievement? What skills have you acquired? You understand what I'm trying to say? I've done sales and marketing at this bank, or personally, I have, you know, done some research. I've done an internship here. So your internships make sense. We call it IT, right, in Nigeria. And there's this one that they do in CWES. They call it CWES or something that they do. All those things are important. All you all need to do now, there is the key thing. Don't just list those things, but tell us what you achieved there. The major projects that you did while you were doing your CWES. So don't just say, I did internship at, and because the name of the company is big, I did internship at IBM. What exactly did you do at IBM? What specific project did they put you on? Even if you did not lead that project. Am I making sense? You don't have to be the leader on that project, but you were on a specific project at IBM. I was on this specific project at MTN. Do you get it? Now, because you were on that team, the achievement of that team is also your achievement. So it is okay to refer to those achievements. Do you get that? We installed so software. We developed this new program. You did not do it all by yourself, yes, but you got the experience working as a team member, developing this program or this software. So, like I said, it is an opportunity to sell yourself and to sell yourself successfully. One thing that is going to always reflect, if you are truthful, your passion is going to reflect as a trend in all of the sections of your statement of purpose. So if you're telling a lie, they're going to know one way or the other. The tone is going to change at some point, and we'll be able to tell that this person just maybe Googled this story and put it together. It doesn't reflect, it doesn't sound like them. Okay, so what questions should you answer? Like we said, what is your specific area of academic interest? Now, you cannot just say, I want to study biochemistry. What exactly do you want to do in biochemistry? Do you get that? You cannot just say, I want to study food and resource economics, right? I'm trying to use your food and resource economics. What exactly is your research interest under food and resource economics? You can't just say, I want to study mass communication, or I want to study public relations. What are you focused on in public relations? Are you focused on crisis communication? Are you focused on corporate communication? Do you understand that? The specific things that tells them that you know, you're not just blindly coming in. They don't want someone that does not have an idea. You have to show that you have a specific goal, a specific vision. There's something you really want to achieve specifically. That's why I said, what is your specific area of academic interest? Do you get that? Specific area of academic interest. Tell us exactly what you want to do. Tell us about your past education. So your first paragraph should introduce yourself, and you should have your hook there. I am Bola Akinolujimi, right? And I am a graduate of These are the things that I have done, other professional development activities that have prepared me for this course of program. You understand that? Let's say you want to study something like project management or logistics. What are major projects that, even if it's for church, yes, they are projects. It depends on how you tailor them and the language you use. Your church is building a new building, and you were the one in charge of overseeing every aspect of the construction. That's a big deal. Do you get that? And you can actually write that out as part of your achievements and activities that have prepared you for the graduate program in project management. What are your existing skills? What are, your experiences? What are the resources that you have? I want to study project management. Yes, I have taken this certification course, I've taken this internship, I have done this training here. You understand that kind of thing? And what areas would you like to advance or improve in the course of the program? There has to be something, like I always said, there has to be something new that you want to research. How do you figure out that something new you want to research? It doesn't hurt at all to look at past journal publications in your field. Just go to the areas that says recommendation for future research. Everybody that does the research has a section that says, for anybody who wants to advance, who wants to further do this study, these are the areas that we did not cover with this research that we feel are loopholes. Look for it. That's one. If it interests you, that's one. And then why is this graduate program particularly going to help you fulfill your long-term aspirations? Oh, for example, I want to study virtual reality and AI as it relates to communication. Yes, so why am I applying to the University of Florida? Because I have done my research and I've seen that only 2 universities in the United States have a virtual reality and AI lab in their communication department, which are West Virginia University and University of Florida. That makes sense. Why specifically University of Florida and not West Virginia? Because professors there are more published, you know, things like that. You're telling them specifically why that program, graduate program, fits your need. You're not applying that because University of Florida is the one that has money and graduate funding. No. You're presenting yourself as a liability already. Do you get that? And because AI and VR is a relatively new area within the field of communication and you are picking interest in it, you are an asset because they're looking to groom you as a future scholar to further develop that area. Do you understand that? So the university, the department will be more willing to pour their money on you and give you funding than to give it to someone who comes up to say, I want to study corporate communication that they have been doing since 1984. What new thing do you want to do on it that has not been done before? This also means that you have to be up to date with the new advancements within your field. If all you know is still what you were taught in the university, in Nigerian universities where our professors use curriculum from 1970 something, you're joking. So please, you want to make sure that you are, pitching yourself properly there. I think I already talked about this, SOP versus personal statements. Your SOP focuses on your academic abilities. Your personal statement focuses on your personality. For SOP, we want to know if you have the academic and the intellectual ability, the drive and the focus for your course of study. For personal statement, we're trying to see if you are mature enough for a graduate study. With your SOP, we want to know if we should look forward to you as an academic asset. With your personal statement, we want to know if we should look forward to you as a team member. And here is the thing. Most graduate programs have what they call research groups. You would most likely be part of a research group. You get admitted to a master's or a PhD program, they're going to give you an advisor, an academic advisor, your research advisor, or your master's advisor or PhD advisor. You're going to be working with that person and other students that they have throughout the course of your study. So you'll be doing research together, you'll be getting published together. There are times you will be the research team lead, there are times others will be the research team lead. They want to see how well you can work. You have to convince them that you are someone they should look forward to as a team member, not as a slacker, not as a laggard, not as someone they'll be running after to get their parts of the research done in good time. So that's personal statement. Are you someone we can work with? And for SOP, are you someone that has the basic technical know-how to even start this at all? If you don't have it, we're not trying to start teaching you from ABC. We want someone that already knows how to do more than ABC and 1, 2, 3. So writing skills, how much does it matter? Spellings matter. Pay attention to your grammar and spelling. Make sure you proofread. Watch your tone. Do not write as if you're talking. This is not Instagram DM. Especially with cold emails as well. It's not Instagram DMs. This is not Facebook chat. So you do not write as if you're talking. You have to write with a professional tone. I always say, avoid the use of slangs. Don't start with hey, because a lot of people assume that when you say hey, it's an American thing, so it's acceptable. No, it is not acceptable. Don't start with hey. Don't even start with hello. Go straight to the point. Their admissions committee. Have a heading. We're going to look at a couple of formats with tone and writing. Now, professionalism is also key. The format and layout of your writing can put us off or get us interested. There are times that people write, and maybe by the time you save it to PDF, the format has kind of messed up, and you just upload it that way. Trust me, the same way you uploaded it is the same way they're going to delete it immediately. Nobody wants to look at it. First impressions matter a lot. The thing is, if you cannot pay attention to such tiny details, how are we sure you can pay attention to details when it comes to research? When they say the way you are dressed is the way you will be addressed, the way you dress is the way you will be addressed. It is the same thing with writing. The first look of your writing determines whether you get the attention or not. So things like margins, spacing, they all matter. Read what you wrote, read it back to yourself. Like they say, hear yourself talk. Would you accept yourself if you were the one accepting students? Does it even sound convincing to you? Your writing can cast a doubt on all your claims of academic this or that, or it can validate your claims. It can cast a doubt on your claims. You may have claimed to be the you were the overall best graduating student, and then the way you even wrote a middle school, a secondary school, GS3 students will probably write better. That's already cast a doubt on the validity of your claims. Do you understand? Or there are some unpardonable, I call certain things unpardonable spelling mistakes. They're not pardonable at all. I mean, GS3 students should not even write that. I will ask them to kneel down, raise up their hand, or stood down for like 4 hours. How will you understand that kind of a thing? It's things like, say, I ask instead of I have. I mean, read it back to yourself. We can all make mistakes, but make sure someone proofreads. There's no shame in somebody helping you to correct your mistakes before the mistakes mar your chances. I am not a perfect writer. Yes, I'm very picky, but even me, I have submitted research papers before that they sent me back review to say my English is very terrible. And I almost cried like, hey, me, my English is terrible. Do you understand that? So what am I saying? There's absolutely no shame in it if you have someone correct what you have written before you submit it. Do you get that? With all my so-called English level or whatever, when I write papers, I send to friends and I tell them, please give me your honest feedback. I don't care how brutal it is. That brutality for me is constructive. As long as it's going to make my submission better and acceptable and get me the admission that I am looking for, then it is fine. Is that okay? If Nigerian people, we believe witches and wizards, everybody's a witch and wizard. If we show them now, they will know we're trying to travel out and they will block our chances. Okay, no problem. Use Grammarly. Grammarly is free. Grammarly.com. That's free. Do you get that? Copy and punch what you have written into Google Docs. Google Docs will underline, ask it to do. Word document also has that. If you want it to correct your grammar and things like that, it also has that. You can also start that. That's going to, help you a lot, especially with the unpardonable mistakes. Grammarly, Google Docs, and even Word documents, if you enable that grammar, spelling, correction feature on it, it's going to help you a lot with that. So writing skills are very important. Now let's look at this example. Do we have someone that's going to read this to us and let us do a critique of it by ourselves? I'm not going to do the critique. All of us are going to do it together. I want you to find mistakes in it and tell us what is good about it. Is anybody willing to read it out to us?
Is nobody willing?
If nobody is willing, you can also read it that way and just make sure you participate and tell us what do you think is great and what do you think is, bad about it.
Kemiki, read it. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, says, I am applying to the University
Sorry,
of Berkeley.
It did not say I am.
Oh, I'm applying
Okay.
to the University of Berkeley Graduate Education Program to pursue a career as a professor and researcher. It's my passion to work with students and help them achieve their academic goals, and I'm excited to be applying to this program because I know it can offer me the knowledge and experience to achieve these goals. I have completed 2 internships at local colleges, including Broadview Community College, where I advised students and helped develop curricula for professors in the education departments. I've also volunteered at my local library, where I created free educational programs for all ages. During my undergraduate studies, I worked with students in various subjects as a tutor, which helped me adapt to multiple learning styles and needs. In my time as a tutor, I won the Department Tutoring Award for increasing my students' grades by a combined total of 12 points per semester. I desire admittance to the graduate program at the University of Berkeley because of the school's strong emphasis on research, and I hope to use both my research and teaching skills in the program.
Thank you very much. Now let's point out the problems.
Yeah, please, everybody, it's interactive. Begin to point out what you think.
I think I want to go first.
Okay.
There's a lot of complex statements here.
Like
I believe
which
it
one?
could have been broken. It's my passion to work with students and help them achieve their academic goal, I'm excited to applying because I know I can. I believe that statement can be broken down.
Okay, that's one. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes. Can I do this?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Most of SOPs I've seen, I really see like
Did you study English?
No.
Thank you. We call that lazy writing. When you use contractions in formal writing. So rule number 1, please do not use contractions. Why are you so lazy? I am, I have, I will. What's the big deal in that? Just a few more letters. That is lazy writing. You don't write the way you talk. This person is writing the way they talk. And let's even look at it. Where is the introduction here? I'm applying, who are you to start with? No name, no introduction. This person did not even talk about what was their bachelor's degree. You're applying to a graduate education program. What did you get your bachelor's in to start with? Then all this, it's my passion. I'm excited. Everybody's excited, though, and everybody has passion. Do you get that? It doesn't tell us anything. specifically. Yes, Mr. Chigozie, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, all. Good evening, Prof. From what I saw on what you displayed, the person is not detailed enough.
Right.
The person is not detailed. Yeah, he didn't actually point what he or she did. So
That's
that's
right.
what
Good. That's that. Yeah, I was going to say that. Mr. Braimo, Mr. Moses.
Okay. From what I noticed from the write-up was that the person talked about his or her internships, but then the person didn't explain in details what he or she did during the internships. Didn't give
That's it.
very few details, just like you taught us. Didn't explain and sell his or herself well to the admission
Okay.
committee. Thank you.
Okay, good. That's another one. Yes. Who do we call next? I'll just call it as it shows up here.
Yeah,
Mr.
Linda.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. What I
Good
can see here is that the person did not really talk about a professor he or she will be interested in working with. And also, the person did not state the skill sets that will be needed for this program.
Exactly. That's good. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Matilda.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, from the SOP, the person does not state his research interest.
Exactly.
He's only talking about education. What part, what field of education did he even wanted to focus on? So he failed to list that one out.
Because look at the last, and I hope to use both my research and teaching skills that you need not even mention. How did we arrive there? You know, like they say, how did we suddenly get here? I'm sure you people I'm on social media too, you know, people will just say, how did we suddenly arrive at research and teaching skills that you did not even mention at all? What specific research skills do you have? You claim to use what you have, because I hope to use both my research and teaching skills. What research have you done? What courses have you taught successfully? Do you get that? All right, what else? Who else wants to say something? Who have we not called? I don't know.
I think Anthony wanted to say something. Anthony, are you there? Okay, what of Samuel Yemi?
Am I
Samuel,
in?
go ahead.
Am I in? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, from what I can point out from the SOP is that we don't know the person's actual career goals, both the short term and the long term.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's important too. I hope we're taking notes.
Yeah.
All these things that people are saying, I hope you're writing it down.
Yeah, Anthony. Please, if you have spoken, please put down your hands. Oh. Anthony, go ahead, please. Anthony, we can't hear you.
You can type your comments and we will see it.
Okay, Anthony, type your comment. OPPOA 15. Can you speak, please?
Okay, I think another thing I noticed is that, like Dr. O said, there's no research about any professor that aligns with what the guy wants to do there.
Yes. And I see some comments here. Too much abbreviations, yes. Contraction, yes. The program the applicant is applying to is not specified. No career goals stated, no professional goals stated, no academic goals stated. First paragraph is very wrong because there's absolutely no hook there. From the first paragraph, I won't even read the rest. I'm applying, everybody is applying, I beg. Who are you exactly? Start with a good hook or start with a story. No story here at all. Absolutely no hook. No specific project highlighted. The person did not relate their skills and education to the program. Yes. Okay. No certification skills. Even though they claim to have research and teaching skills, we don't see that. The justification is not there. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Fortunatus?
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so what I noticed is that the reason for choosing the school is very, very general. Like I said, I desire admittance to the graduate program at the University of Berkeley because of the school's strong emphasis on research.
Okay. Yeah.
Every other school has a strong emphasis on research. So it was supposed to be detailed, mention the professors, what exactly sets the school apart.
Exactly.
So the reason for choosing the school is generic, it's very, very general.
Right. What sets the school apart, and if that thing fits your own professional and career goals, we need to hear that. Like I said, so in the field of communication here in the United States, we have only 2 universities that have the public interest communications program. University of Florida and West Virginia University. Those are the only 2. So someone that now, public interest communication is a new area of public relations. And it's as new as it started like maybe in the last 5 years. So not a lot of scholars are into that area yet. Do you understand that? So for someone that wants to study that aspect of public relations, that's a good reason. Do you get that? That's a good reason to say, this is the only other school that offers that has the specialization that I want. And trust me, not every university has the specializations that you want. Do you get that? Now, not every university has the resources that you want, the facilities that you need. Do you get that? And in some universities, you would have professors that, the teaching, you have departments that in the teaching area, yes, they have your area of interest, but they don't really have professors that are in your area of research interest. Do you get that? So which means, yes, you may take classes, but there's no professor that is really focused on that area enough to supervise your thesis or your dissertation. So they will not take you. They will not accept you because there's nobody who is, like when I started my PhD program, there was only one professor in my research interest area. And yes, I got accepted. And after the first year, the man got a better job with more money at another university and he left. And I started floating, no supervisor. I was already in the program. Do you get that? Now, someone with my research interest applying to that university at that time will not be accepted, not because they are not brilliant, but because that department is not a good fit for them at that time. So I was forced to change my research for my dissertation to something else that would be applicable to some other professors so that I don't have to change my university. So my dissertation, I kind of was a mix of my research interest and the research interest of my new supervisor. Do you get what I'm trying to say there? So that's one of the reasons some people are not even getting accepted. It's not because they're not brilliant. It's not because they're not desirable. It's not because they are not an asset. It's just because they are applying to the wrong programs. The professors look at you and they're like, oh my God, this student is so brilliant, is so accomplished. I wish this is my area, but it is not my area. So in this student best interest, we better not accept them because we will not be able to mentor them in their research area. So you have to let the school know why they're a good fit for you and why you're a good fit for them. The program, sorry, not just the school. Okay, let's look at another example. Look at this example too. Let's read it and critique it.
Can I read it, Ma?
Yes, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Yeah. From an early age, I was interested in how marketers use storytelling to sell to customers. During my undergraduate years studying marketing, I was able to complete a comprehensive research project that addressed customer psychology and its role in the market. I also learned a lot about the role of marketing in everyday life while working as a marketing researcher at my university. In this role, I published a comprehensive study that included data from over 300 students and faculty members regarding their purchasing patterns. The Master of Business Administration MBA program at Green Hills University can help me further my marketing knowledge and prepare me for an academic career in marketing. This program's marketing specialization requires excellent organizational skills, along with exceptional attention to detail, and my previous experiences have helped me acquire both these skills. I'm also confident that my analytical skills and commitment to professional development make me an excellent candidate for the program. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much for reading it to us. Now let's do a critique. Take your time, look at it, what is good about this and what is really bad. Let's talk about the good first. Who's going to break the ice?
Who is raising up their hands?
I can call names. I love calling
Yeah,
names.
please call names.
I'll just put you on the spot. It's
Hello?
either you volunteer yourself or I force you.
Hello.
Yeah, Winifred, you must start this time around. OPPO, go ahead.
I think the introduction is not detailed. The
How?
introduction part is it didn't really talk about the part of what is studied. At least it should give a bit. Although it was encouraging that it did more of a story kind of to introduce himself, but I still feel maybe it's not really detailed.
Okay, what more details would you add if you were to write this?
Kelechi, we cannot hear you. Yeah. Okay, Chigozie.
Okay. I want to add on. I want to talk about the good aspect of the SOP.
Okay.
What I saw here is that the person actually engaged in something and have an experience.
Okay.
So that is the only thing I can see for now.
And like we said, tell us your why. And since you discovered the why, what have you been doing towards it? So this person is interested in how marketers use storytelling to sell to customers. And there's nothing bad in just catching an interest in something while you're young. It's normal. Sometimes that's how we discover what some kids will be, right? Like they say when a child is a talkative, they become a lawyer. Okay. I don't know how true that is, but you know. But they went ahead to study marketing, which means their interest was strong enough to propel their course of study. They did a comprehensive research project that studied customer psychology. And customer psychology is one of the things you focus on when you use storytelling. I know a little bit about that. Customer psychology is basically looking at, the latent things that go on in the minds of customers and use that, using theoretical frameworks, use that to develop your strategy, your storytelling strategy in order to convince customers to buy something. I also learned about the role of marketing in everyday life while working as a marketing researcher. So not only did they do a research study on customer psychology, but they also worked as a marketing researcher. So they're telling us that they've done some research at the university level. They have published a study that included data from over 300 students. Now, mark the word published. This person has a publication, which speaks to the fact that they have some experience doing research that is worthy of publication. So they've done something related to customer psychology. They've done something related to purchasing behaviors. right? Purchasing patterns. Okay, what other good things can we point out here?
Yeah, Buraimo,
Start
go ahead.
talking about the negatives.
Okay, I believe that it's a good write-up, and I also believe that he was able to link his experience with the skills that is required of the school.
Right.
And he was able to link them together and let the school know that I have this experience, you need this, so we can actually work together. So, but what I see that he could have also added to make it a beautiful writing at the end was he probably didn't include his long-term goals of or what he was seeing, the end thing that would have made the school probably like, okay, this is the goal of why I'm applying. At the long term, I want to be able to achieve this, and we can achieve it together while doing that. So thank you.
All right. So this person states their professional goals. How does this fit? What do I want to use this degree for? Eventually, they didn't state that. Okay, yes.
Yeah, Samuel Oluwayemi, can you go ahead?
All right, sir.
Winnie, you have to speak. Oh. Go ahead, Samuel.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm trying to check the grammar aspect, and I think the person has done a really good justice to the grammar, because I can tell from some of the punctuations, and for example, in this rule, comma, capital letter I had to follow, and that is very correct in grammar.
Yeah.
So I think the person paid attention to the grammar structure. Then the introduction was quite catchy. It would interest the reader to know what the person has to say more. Then I think this is not a complete SOP. That is why we are trying to say that the long-term or short-term goals are not included. I think if we add a full detail of the SOP, I think all those will be charged, because this, from just the little details we have read, we can tell that the person had really done a good job, both in trying to communicate and structuring the grammar. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, Kelechi Andrew.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So, from the beginning of the essay, the person started by telling us a story of her why she said why she was interested in this course, and from the telling of the story, you can tell that from when she got to understand what she wanted, she actually took action, and that's why she worked on she did some things which also helped her progression from just knowing what you want to do and then taking a step further. But there's one thing I also noticed about this was that, yeah, she's made a point on how the school will help her, but she didn't highlight her future endeavors and how this school will achieve that. I think that's what I think that she didn't conclude, or the people didn't conclude on that.
Okay. But she said something about preparing her for an academic career in marketing. So we will assume, right? But
yes, ma'am.
It needs to be more specific. What do you mean by academic career? You look forward to becoming a professor of marketing. You look forward to getting a PhD eventually in this same field. You know, that should be included. Okay, anybody else?
Yakubu, go ahead.
Okay, hi. So one thing that I noticed here was that the applicant was able to connect their undergraduate study, which is marketing, right? And to what they intend to study, that's the Masters of Business Administration. So they were able to talk about the program's marketing specialization. So how it connects to their undergraduate study and what the program intends to help them achieve, in the sense like the program requires excellent organization skill along with exceptional attention to details. So all his past experience will help him achieve this in this Masters of Business Administration. Thank you.
Okay.
Chigozie.
Okay, sir. You said connecting like why the reason for choosing the school. So on negative aspect of this SOP, I can read through and see that he didn't actually, the writer did not actually like emphasize on reason for choosing the school. Like, is this school good at this very program that the person is applying to?
Okay.
So that's what I saw on the
Yes,
SOP.
that's correct. They said the MBA program at Green Hills University will help them further their marketing knowledge and prepare them. How? Do you understand that? That's a blanket statement, and we say avoid blanket statements. What are your specifics?
Yeah, thank you, Chigozie. Winnie.
Good evening, Prof. Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, following what the person had a prompting of wanting to study marketing, and he achieved that by going for an undergraduate program, and he did a comprehensive research, and he did some publications. But going further for the master's, he wants to just go into Green Hills University. There's no long-term goal. There's no yearning from the university. Like, the university didn't inspire him to come into. He just wants to go there and pass through the university. There's no research interest in marketing, because even in the marketing, you have to look for a research interest or work on something or a specialization that will enable you have a good marketing skills now. Furthermore, for your for his interest. So he said this marketing program specialty requires excellent organizational skill, which is normal. He must have had it from his undergraduate days, but now he needs analytical skills now to enable him to push further for his MBA. They say, I'm confident that my analytical skills and commitment to professional development makes me an excellent candidate. He has not put in it, sorry, he hasn't stated what he needs now and what the university is going to do for him at this point in time. Thank you.
So one thing to note about that, he or she talked about the program specialization and requires excellent organizational skills. And those are like basic stuff that we would expect, right? The biggest problem here is they didn't tell specifically how this program is a good fit for them. What are the specializations available in the MBA program? Because even with MBA, you have to specialize. There are executive MBAs, there are, MBAs that focuses on this, on that. Does this university have it? So that is also missing. Okay, let's look at one other example. Is everyone able to read this? I want to be sure that this panel here is not blocking anything. Are we able to see it?
Yeah, we're able to see it. Yeah, Deborah, can you read?
Okay, I can. Good evening.
Good evening.
I earned my undergraduate degree in psychology because I've always had an interest in the psychological process affecting human behavior. By earning a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology, I hope to influence how employees work and improve productivity, communication, and retention rates in the workplace. Bloom University's emphasis on original research, its state-of-the-art research lab, and its talented faculty attracted me to the psychology program. And I believe my experience and background can greatly benefit the program. During my undergraduate years, I published 3 studies in my university's academic journal detailing the benefits of training and development, performance management programs, and employee reward systems. I was the only undergraduate psychology student in my year to gain recognition for completing an original research project, and I entitled it The Link Between Rewards Programs and Employee Satisfaction. I also volunteered at the Human Resources Department of UTHA Incorporated, where I worked directly with an organizational psychologist for 3 months. During this time, I acquired excellent communication and research skills, which I know can benefit me in the program.
Okay. All right, so first thing first, before we start to tear this apart, what is one unique thing about this sample that we did not see in the previous two samples? Is Winifred
Chigozie.
still- I mean, are you raising your hand from before or you're raising it now?
Chigozie is just raising his hand. Go ahead,
Okay.
Chigozie.
From this SOP, this person actually identified a problem.
Chigozie, can you speak up? I can't hear you very well.
I think there's a problem with audio from your end. You want to type, please?
Okay, Chigozie, maybe you type. Ayeniolu Atoba. Can you go ahead, please?
Thank you, sir. I think, I love the introduction. It's kind of detailed to me about how he earned his undergraduate degree, how he did his master's, and how he wants to improve on that by seeking for admission in the school. I think I like that part.
Okay, can I correct something real quick?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Toby Ayeni and everybody. The part A, in fact, this introduction is not a great one. Let's not deceive ourselves. This should come later. You should not be talking about the university first. You should be talking about yourself first. So adding all the details about the Bloom's University's emphasis, what you intend to do should not come first. What should come first is your why and who you are. That's the first thing. You know, it's like someone says, introduce yourself, and you are talking about, let's say you're applying for a job, and at the interview, they say, introduce yourself. And the first thing you want to talk about is, you know, this company is a very good company. No, no, no. Start with you. Do you get that? Tell us exactly who you are, what makes you stand out. One good thing, one great thing about this is that this student sold themselves very well in the second paragraph. Just look at that. I was the only undergraduate psychology student to gain recognition. Do you get that? Which means there's proof. To gain recognition for completing an original research project titled The Link Between Rewards Program and Employee Satisfaction. Now that tells that this student is likely going to be a pace setter. If you are the only undergraduate student that gained recognition for doing original research, then, you know, it tells us a lot about you, that you have initiative, and you're probably going to develop initiative for research ideas that are outstanding. You've already said something that shows that you're outstanding. Do you get that? You've already said something that shows that you can think of creating a niche for yourself. And what professors are looking for are students who can create research niches. We don't want someone that just wants to come and learn what everybody else is learning and just go. No, we're looking for someone that can further develop the areas. When I was graduating with my PhD, there was a student in my cohort, not me, and it was the first and the only person to actually goes deeply into what we call public interest communication. And he published a book as a PhD student. He published a whole textbook on public interest communication. And what he did was to define the borders, the scope of what is called public interest communication. So there's no way you're going to mention public interest communication without mentioning his name. Do you get that? That was the future of PR, and he already wrote a book on it, and his dissertation was on it. That's the kind of students they're looking for. So if you can show us that you have that kind of ability right from your undergraduate days, then we can count on you to further develop that ability. This person has published 3 research studies, 3 studies in academic journals. So if I were to change this, the first part of the paragraph is what I would retain. all from the place where they said, by earning a master's degree, no, you bring that to later. That's when you now tell us why you want to. You start with why you want to. You start with your story. What's got you interested in this area? And yes, they told us they have always had interest in psychological processes affecting human behavior, even though they didn't tell us what triggered it. But yes, that's their why. They get that. They told us their bachelor's, what they got their bachelor's in, we should have come first instead of later. So with this kind of statement of purpose, I would just rearrange a lot of things. There has to be a progression in your statement of purpose. That's what we're saying. Don't put the, what do they call it? Don't put the cart before the horse, right? Let the horse be before the cart. Let the horse propel. Don't put the cart before the horse. There has to be a progression. How did this start? So when this started, what have you been doing to make sure that you're still on the right path towards your, towards your interest? Where are you? At what stage are you at now? I've acquired these skills, I've acquired that skill, I've done this, I've done that. Okay, so why this particular university? It is because this university has this, as that. Another thing, okay, anybody else before I go on?
I don't think any other person, you've torn it apart, so maybe they don't have any comment.
Okay, so let's look at this. I'm going to use this link now at this point, and this is a much longer one, which I don't want anybody to read this out. Just, read it at your own pace. Can everyone see that screen? I'm just going to scroll it very slowly, so take your time to read it. So let me just, hold on. Let's do it this way. Okay. Okay. And I think I'm going to just, this is second, we can read everything. Let's just go through it. If you have been able to scan through, please tell me what's the one good thing and one really bad thing about the statement of purpose.
Fortunatus, go ahead.
All right. I would say the person actually was very detailed about his research interest.
Okay.
But one thing I noticed, I don't know, I might be wrong, but one thing I noticed is that the tone of the language is somehow off. I can notice some grammatical errors. Apart from the grammatical errors, the way the person constructed the sentence was not very, very professional, like the person should be, according to the experience that he was explaining in the SOP.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Kemiki Olaleko.
Thank you, sir. I was actually itching to talk. The SOP, as far as I'm concerned, didn't look like an SOP. It looked like a lecture. There was no progression. That's the only good thing I can bring out from this SOP is that the person showed us his role in some of the work that was done. That's a very nice one.
Okay.
But apart from that, the progression was poor. The language wasn't so good. It's not catchy. I was struggling to read it through. I was only encouraged to read it through because you were strolling it. If I was a lecturer looking at it, I may not continue with it, even though the person has a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm not too much impressed.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Kemiki.
So let's talk about this one real quick. Number one thing, this person did a good job telling us they're a good fit, telling us their experiences, the research that they have done, and and stuff like that. But they went a little bit too far. It's like you're trying to teach the professors that will teach you the content of what you want. I mean, that's too much. It's enough to to show that you know what you're talking about, the specifics. Yes, they did that, but they overdid it. Is that understood? They overdid it. All the paragraphs in addition to game theory and this is not classroom. We only need you to show us that you know the specific of what you're coming in to do, your specific research. There's one of the paragraphs where they were able to identify the gap in research that they are looking to come and fill as a research student, which is also great. Do you get that? And now these two paragraphs are good. In addition to all the ideas that they've talked about, their past work have given them the skills. They've taken theoretical math, which makes sense, graduate statistics, economics classes, great things. These are the things we're looking at. They have been able to really establish that they are ready and they are equipped to a good extent. Do you understand? They've solved mathematical models and mortgage refinancing. This tells the professor that this is not a baby. You get it? This is a mature student that now, one thing you should notice, that professors are not looking for babies. They're looking for mature students who already know what they want and they know how to do it. The professors are there to guide you in graduate school. They are there to guide you towards what you want to achieve. They're not there to tell you what you should achieve and this is what you should do or should not do. No, in graduate school, you're supposed to know what you want to do, have a fair idea of how to get it done while they help you to fine-tune it. Do you understand that? This is not undergraduate. So this student did a good job with these last two paragraphs and the starting paragraphs. Please give me a minute. My baby is here. Let me please get her. Go to daddy. Thank you. My apologies. She just woke up. So I thought she would be sleeping for longer. All right. So overall, they've been able to tell why the program at Harvard will be there, the thing. Now, this is how you know students that are overdue. I too know. What is references doing in your statement of purpose? This is not a research paper. Do we understand that? So now let's look at some examples that I have. I downloaded them. One is my personal example, and one is another example that I helped someone to look at. So I have them in my download documents. Hopefully please give me a minute. I'm just trying to open this document. Is everyone able to see the Word document that I opened?
We are still seeing the Prep Scholar.
Okay. I will see what I'm sharing now. New share. Okay. Are you seeing this Word document
Yeah,
now?
we can see the Word document now.
Okay. So here is an example. All right. Let's look at this. It started with, communication in the broad sense, what I currently do. My duties include these, as it relates. I've participated in these consultative processes and stuff like that. This is what the student is saying. They talked about their previous position as an instructor, as a teacher, which means they've got some teaching experiences. Now note that this student was applying for a PhD. And when you're applying for a PhD, you're getting both skills in both research and teaching. Even if you don't intend to go into teaching eventually, you're going to get both trainings. Okay, so as a candidate, I want to expand my knowledge and become a professional. Over the past years, these are the things I've done. Studied English. This is what I realized. This is how I find out that there is a gap in research. You know, that's for these students right there. And also communication desired. And what other things make it important? Research skills, desire for more knowledge, rigorous research experience, you know. What sparked my interest? Now I want you to tear this apart. Do you think this paragraph should come here or should have come first? I guess it's too tiny to read, right?
So please, let's talk, let's contribute.
It's too big.
I mean, it's too, you can't read everything, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me reduce it later. I'm trying to get it to not be too, is this okay?
Yes.
Okay,
It's okay
good.
now. Oh no. Reduce a bit.
Reduce a bit?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was. Is it
Okay.
better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can someone look at this final paragraph and tell me where it should have come?
Yeah, Ayeniolu, what
This
about
paragraph
you?
should
Go
be at
ahead.
the beginning.
I
Should
think
come
it
first.
should have been in the
Come
first
first.
or second paragraph, hopefully,
Second
like that. It should have
paragraph.
been the first one.
You're all correct. This should have come in the second paragraph, not in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Look at this paragraph too. Where should it have come? Look at this paragraph. In my quest for more knowledge and stuff like that.
First paragraph.
No, not first
No, this should
paragraph.
be the last. It should be at the middle or the last.
Yes,
Middle or
this
the
should be
third.
part of the body. The last
Yeah.
paragraph, now here's one thing I want you to note. Your first paragraph should introduce you
Exactly. So, yeah.
and talk a little bit about your academic background, your foundation. So your first paragraph should introduce who you are, why, and a little bit about your academic background. All these details about the skills you have acquired, the experiences you've had, and all of these things have prepared you for what you want to do should be in the body. So it could be second, third, fourth paragraph, depending on how many paragraphs. Your closing paragraph should talk about why that school is your fit and how that program, why that program is the best fit for you, why you're choosing to apply to that particular program and not another program at another university, and how it will prepare you for your future goals. That's what you should be ending with. First paragraph should introduce you. If you like, introduce your name or, your story, how everything started, how you got interested in healthcare, how you got interested in marketing, how you got interested in resource economics, and stuff like that. How you got interested in mathematics. Yes, that's your first paragraph. Should introduce you, should tell us the why, and should tell us what is your academic foundation. Things like I have earned my bachelor's and master's degree already, that is your first paragraph. The body should give us more details like, did you do certain research studies? Did you have certain work experiences, internship, what are the skills that you have acquired? Did you get some trainings? Did you, and all those things should be in the body, whether second, third, or fourth paragraph, it's okay, as long as it's still in the body. Make sure that you always close with, now this is the reason why I'm coming to this school in particular. This is what this school has that no other school has, which makes it the best fit for me. And because this school is the best fit for me, it will help me reach these future goals of mine. That's what you should be closing with. Do you get that? So just break it into 3 parts like that. This is actually someone's whatever, but I rearrange it trying to see if you would be able to figure out what are the problems with it. Because if I presented it exactly as it is, it will look too perfect. And I want you to just be able to pick what is wrong and what is right. So we say that start with the most important, your highest achievement should come first. The moment they read that, that's a good hook. You have hooked them, then they want to read the rest. Spark their interest in you. Do you understand that? Spark their interest in you. Now, one thing you should notice that. Quick question, how many minutes do you think that an average reviewer for your application will spend on your statement of purpose? On average. Go and get that. Any good guesses?
I think 5 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay. You said 5 minutes. Anybody else?
I think 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Really? No.
Yeah.
You know how many applications they are going to read?
That's
10 minutes per statement of
minutes.
purpose. And they have to look at your other application packets, your
On
GRE
the
score, your
average,
Ds,
3
your
minutes,
references. Huh?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, don't fall. Just for statement of purpose only. 3 minutes is a
They
lot.
only pack the 100 words.
You said what?
That's the reason they always ask for 500 words.
Exactly. They know what they are doing. They are going to skim through. Now, the thing is, they don't read word for word. That's the truth. They're looking for the highlights in each paragraph. If they do not find interesting highlights to hook them in the first and the second paragraph, they will not read the rest. Forget it. That's why the first and the second are very important. That's why you have to hook them there. I will start with something like, my name is this. I earned my bachelor's in and I graduated as the overall best student in my, that is enough. Okay, this sounds promising. Let's see, what else did you do? Do you get that? Or you start with a good story. If you don't want to start with my name, I am and I'm applying to this, you can start with a good story, but make sure your story has a hook, is interesting, not just any regular story everywhere. I had malaria and then I spent 2 weeks in the hospital and I decided to become a doctor because I was angry. No, everybody has malaria and everybody has that kind of experience. It has to be unique. So that is one. Let's look at one more example that I will share. And that will be the last example for the day, so that I don't keep us for too long here. Are we able to see the new document that I opened?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the USM statement.
No, this one says Adenike.
No, it's not open yet. We're still seeing the USM statement of goals. Maybe okay, yeah, we've seen that. And Denike Siadigwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look at this.
Dr. O, are you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I just want everyone to read this quickly and let's see. Let me know if you want me to scroll up a little bit. Are we ready for me to scroll? Maybe one more minute, let's see.
Yeah, you can scroll, please.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes,
okay.
we are.
Share your opinions. What do you think?
Linda,
Yes.
go ahead, please.
Okay, good evening, ma.
Yes,
Okay,
good
from
evening.
what I've read from it, it looks too generic. It looks too generic.
How is it generic?
Like it looks like a usual story that someone can just Google to get information about. Like it doesn't sound real and confusing and convincing.
Okay.
And it's quite wordy because there are some paragraphs that could have been paraphrased, and it looks like there's repetition, like in different words. The person is still repeating the same thing using different words.
Okay. All right.
All right. Sure.
Yeah, Kemiki.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. For me, it's quite opposite. I love this SOP. I love the progress. I love how the person has shown how she had moved from one particular course to another particular course. And then she have also shown that she knows that this is a competitive program, but this is what I can bring on board when I come on board. So I think this SOP to me is a good SOP. It's very good.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, thank you, Kemiki. Who else?
Hello, ma.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Kelechi, go ahead, please.
Okay, the reading the SOP was very interesting because there was a flow from the beginning, from introduction, and the
That's
flow
it.
was it was just easy to just go through. I mean, from the first line and then taking you down. She also told you her story of her life, and it's quite an interesting one. So it's a good one. It's an interesting. It's one that is interesting to read too.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Winnie, can you go ahead?
Yeah, this is an interesting SOP, captivating introduction, progressive line from her studies to her job to the skills she acquired, and back to going back to the institution where she wants to further her education, and also her long-term goal. Everything is perfect for me.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Winnie. Fortunatus.
Okay, all right. Apart from the fact that the SOPs, the statement of purpose is captivating and all. In fact, most of the statement of purpose being considering since money was not very readable as this one. The readability is very high because the person managed to break the paragraphs. Normally, if you are writing for a paragraph, maximum should be 4 lines. So the person actually obeyed the rule. If you notice everything, the maximum line here is 4, though it did not exist 4 line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Samuel Oluwayemi.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. To me, I think the SOP has the right content, but the paragraphs are seeming too much. I think the paragraphs are seeming too much for me.
Okay.
So, because I don't know, some SOP classes that I've been seeing or taking online, that we are asked not to take more than this specific paragraph 1 for your this, paragraph 2. But yeah, I can see literally many paragraphs. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Ayeni Oluwatoba.
Yes. Good evening once again from here. I think one of those things I see in this SOP, I think is the best so far by me. I think it depends on the person reading it, because what is good for me might not be good for you. It depends on the person reading it. But I love something towards the last side, as seen on the slide now. There's this part that what you are coming to learn from them, you want to come and use it in your own country. I think with that is a good point, that even though you are coming to learn, to do all that, you have a future plan of bringing the impact of what you've learned to your own country. I think I like that part.
Okay.
Thank you.
So here's the catch. It doesn't always have to be your country. It can be to the field. Do you understand that? That country part is maybe when you get to the visa interview, you just be telling them you want to come back home, you want to come back home. If you don't tell them that one, they won't give you visa. That's the best thing they want to hear. They just want to hear that, no, I'm not going to America to stay, or I'm not going to Canada. I'm coming back home. I'm patriotic. That's for visa. But for this, you can say that's what you want to contribute to the field. And you can also say to your country, that's okay. So it could be in the country or field. But like everyone has said, the flow of this SOP is great. This is the kind of SOP you would read that you would not even, it's because we're in a class like this. You can read this SOP and not even remember or notice that the paragraphs are many. There is a natural flow. Now look at it. This person has first hooked them by letting them know, I visited a friend, I casually joined the brainstorming session, and I just threw out an idea, and that's it. That was the beginning of my journey in brand communication. That's a very simple but effective story. The person didn't have to lie. My daddy now had company. The company now broke down. That thing now pained me. And I said, me too, I'll go and start the company and try to revamp my father's image. No, you don't have to make up a story. It can be as simple as that. Why are you into marketing? I followed my mother to the store, and the way I was interacting, she made more sales. That's a good story. What I'm saying in essence is there's no story that is insignificant. It depends on the way you phrase it. It depends on the way you frame it. Do you understand that? Look at the flow right there. You start and you just keep reading. Yes, there are too many paragraphs. Some of these paragraphs could be merged. So they could be merged together. That is correct. Do you understand? Now, with this story, they were even to close the gap between, you know, sometimes what you study is not what you end up doing. They were able to close the gap between why did you study this and you are doing something else. Do you understand that? And which means this person probably did not study what they are interested in. They probably studied what was available. And after studying it one way or the other, you know, they came to discover exactly what they are good at, what they have a natural knack for. Do you understand that? And that happens a lot. You'll find people who study geology and they are very good at marketing. And they are the head of marketing department in one bank. Yeah, there's a story of how they got there. Do you understand that? So what are we saying? What is the best thing about this SOP? The hook. Now the readability. I always tell people, America, they don't care about using jargon. So, and you know, Nigeria, we like to show off. We'll be looking for all this vocabulary that by the time the person is done with paragraph 1, they need paracetamol, they need malaria drug, they will need a fan. They will need to shower at the same time and pour water on their head because the head is boiling. And the thing is, they still don't understand what you wrote. Because it's all grammar. The simpler, the better. Do you get that? The simpler, the better. Whatever you're able to write, whatever you write that a layman that is not in your field cannot understand, please don't write it. You write an SOP, you're in statistics, and by the time I look at the thing and then I'm becoming dizzy. Do you understand? Because I'm not a statistician, then you should not have written that. Am I making sense? You want to study public health and you start to put all the medical jargon there. This kinesiology, all the logies and the logy and the physiology and the pharmacology and everything that is logy inside it to the point that I can't even say this is the bottom line, then don't write it. From this write-up, you can even get an idea of what we do in public relations, even if you are not a PR person. Am I making sense? So your writing matters. It's not about how Jim your grammar is. It's about the natural flow. Look, this is clean. Look at the use of what we call white space. White space are the spaces between the paragraphs, very consistent. They get that? Very consistent. The choice of font type and font size and everything is also there. It has a natural flow. Yes, this story sounds too good to be true, but for someone like me, I know that this is a true story because this person was my colleague. Do you get that? So that's the reason why they want to join it. You know, paragraphs like this, I would say don't ever use it. The one I highlighted, do not write one sentence paragraphs. It is not professional. But any 2-sentence paragraph, yes, there were lots of repetition there, yes. But what I would say is that's one of the reasons why when you write, give it to someone else to read for you. Do you get that? They will be able to point out what you have said already that you're just saying again, that could be boring, and things like that. Good opening, good details, how they were able to, and they gave examples of marketing campaigns that they have done for Toyota, Guinness, Procter & Gamble, Wema Bank, among others, which means that they probably have evidences of this in their portfolio in the rest of the application packet. So if you have done research, show us, the journal where you published, do it. And some universities even allow you, if you've never published, but you've done research, they would allow you to upload samples of your undergraduate project, the one we wrote. Please only upload it if you are sure you did not plagiarize. If you plagiarized it, you just did copy and paste from different places to do your undergraduate research project. It's better you don't just upload it. Don't make that mistake. Because not only would they reject you, they might even flag you to other graduate schools. And other graduate schools, once they all see your name like that, forget it. They're not even thinking about you. So yes, the only problems with this is it's kind of lengthy, but also we don't know how many words, what was the word count that the school required. But this is a good example. Like I said, there is no perfect writer. There is no statement of purpose that is entirely perfect. But of all the examples, this is a very good one that you can use as a template. And like I said, we're closing with this example here. Any questions, or let me just hand it over back to, to Pastor Bolaniwa. I'm ready to take questions now.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Benson, you did not talk at all, and that is why the ACA used your name. You didn't say anything all through this meeting. And that's why the ACA used your name at the end of the day.
No, I think
Dr.
my
O
name
does not even know you.
I think my name was the easiest for him to pronounce.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was quick to have used my name, sir.
Okay, that's good. I think, okay, yeah, thank you, Benson. Do you have any question? Yeah, Mustafa, go ahead with your question before I go to the Slido question.
My question is, like I study chemistry, industrial during my undergraduate, but I'm looking for PhD program in the US. So how can I arrange since I did a lot of SOP and I applied for so many UK universities, like now I have like 3 offers in the UK. I got 3 offers. Thank you, Doctor. All this come from you, the way I follow you from Twitter, I follow your tweets through Neraland and everything. So, but now I want to start looking for, since I did I applied for the UK just to see how my SOP is, how I did all this kind of thing, if the team can help me. So now I want to start looking for PhD program.
Okay.
So is it easier for me to get a PhD program with my undergraduate chemistry, industrial chemistry, like PhD program? That is my question. And what are they?
Okay, Mustafa. Yeah, Mustafa, I think that question is for me, basically.
Yes.
If you're in my mentorship group, you should know that answer. And if you have, for chemistry students, you can apply to your PhD straight in the United States. So that will be my answer. But you need to put together a very good application packet.
Right.
Yeah. And why I'm focusing on SOP is because a lot of people, first class students, great GPA, very good application packet, but not a good SOP. That messes everything up, So that's why we're focusing on SOP. But we can talk more afterwards. I don't know if you're part of my mentorship group. If you're there, then we can engage more there. But if not, we can still talk.
Call me. You call me through Telegram. I'm part of the mentorship.
Okay, if you're part of the mentorship group, then we can have a call and we'll talk extensively.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah, you're welcome, Lawal. Alicia, can you please go ahead with your question?
Hi, good evening again, everybody. All right, so Dr. O, my question is for you. Okay, so as it relates to the final SOP that we went through, I have a question as it relates to it. I realized the person didn't really expound much as it relates to the future goals. It was stated, but it wasn't elaborated on. Because why I'm asking this question is because that is the area that I'm kind of struggling to kind of fine-tune that area. So I want to know, like, how can I go about that since the person didn't really elaborate on that much? Or am I overthinking it, or what exactly? My second question is, I have been targeting Canada so far, and I'm just realizing now that the statement of intent is the same thing as the statement of purpose. That is correct?
Yes.
Okay, and is the statement of interest is the same thing as well?
Yes, statement of interest, statement of intent, statement of purpose, they're all the same thing. It is when you hear things like personal statement, that's different. But statement of interest, intent, purpose, they are the same thing. They're just like different nomenclatures, you're just using different titles for things.
Okay, then, thank you.
Okay, so, you know, like I said, not every statement of purpose is perfect. So what can we improve on this example that I used? It is long-term goals. This person has only, you know, talked about they have a desire to learn and become a communication expert. Their goal is to acquire the highest level of knowledge and skills in the field to be able to use this for the benefit of their organization in Nigeria and ultimately establish their own PR firm. I think that is short, maybe not elaborate as we want, because this person is probably focused on professional, you know, establishing their own PR firm, and they've got some experience. They want to have some more learning and bring it back and, you know, use it going forward. So I think it is kind of captured here. It's just that a lot of times we're looking at people who would talk about how they want to continue doing research. It's not everyone that wants to go to graduate school that is research oriented. Do you get that? So, but that's the thing you can improve, but it is always good to indicate. Now, one other thing is when you're talking about goals, it is not compulsory that you should say my short-term goals are, my long-term goals are, you know, you don't necessarily have to use exactly those words. You can phrase it your own way that we can tell that you're talking about your future goals and how this academic program fits into your future goals. So this person is looking towards establishing their own PR firm. Do you get that? And for someone in the field of public relations, they have talked about some aspects of public relations where they've got the experience. I'm trying to find it here. I'm not sure where it is again. I think they mentioned it somewhere. Yeah, copywriting, media and account management, customer relation management, event management, you know, these are areas where they already have experience and they're hoping to get other experience, because for you to have a PR firm, you need to know a little bit about all of these areas because it will depend on the client. So, you know, because this is a little bit tailored to PR, for someone in public relations, you would not have a problem with understanding what their future goals are here. Do you understand that? So yes, it's stated, but it was not articulated strongly. I agree with you. So you would want to do that when you write your own SOP.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Alicia, let me just say one more thing. I know you are focusing on Canada, but one thing I've told all my mentees in my group is have US schools in your list.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of funding in the United States.
Right.
Compared to Canada. I'm telling you, the ratio of Canada's funding to the US will be ratio 1:5.
Mm.
There is just a lot of funding. US, there is really no requirement to say, hey, you need a supervisor before we can admit you.
Mm-hmm.
But in Canada,
yeah,
you need to have written a lot of cold emails, be talking to a supervisor before you admit it. And a lot of people that I know have gone to Canada, a lot of them had to fund themselves, many of them. It's not the same in the US. So I'm not saying don't apply to Canada. Apply to US schools as a backup. That's my piece of advice.
Okay, sir. Okay, let me just Add a statement to that. All right. So I am in fact also looking at US schools. However, I was trying to avoid doing the GRE. So that was actually the reason why I was trying to avoid most of the US schools, because my program, most of the schools in the US require that I have a GRE score.
Okay, which program is that?
That's food science. So
Okay.
I'm between food science and chemistry because my degree is actually in chemistry.
Okay. See, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter.
I do.
Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, go and read all my pinned tweet. I gave extensive. If you can read my Nairaland thread, I've spoken extensively about why it's important for you to write the GRE.
Oh, okay.
Let me give you an example quickly. There are some countries that every program have, had students from that country, and they've done excellently well. So, and US and Canada, people from all over the world apply to those schools. So if I'm seeing an application from a student from a country that we've not seen them or had them in our program before, and that program does not require GRE, but I see a similar application from another country that we've had tons of students from that country, they've done excellently well, I'm going to be, skewed towards admitting students from the countries that we've established ties and they've done well in our program. So your probability of getting admitted in such programs are very, 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 very low. But when you do the GRE, a lot of things will start speaking for you. Number one, a very good undergraduate degree, your SOP, and I talked about references too. No matter how good your application packet, your achievement, if you don't get good references, it can mess up it reduces your chances by over 90%. So those are important. But when you have the GRE score, it's is a standardized test. It solidifies, even though they've not had students from your country, if they see consistency in your undergrad, your SOP and everything, and they see a very good GRE score, it gives them the impression that we can place a bet on this student. When I did my master's at the University of Delaware, I was the last student to be admitted. At the end of the day, after finishing, I went to say thank you to my chair for the opportunity, to be, and he said something. He said, "We admitted you last, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "But you justified the admission because I did well in the program. But I was the first to come. So it was very tough, even though I had a GRE, to even admit me." Now think about not having all the requirements. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when you have all these requirements, it increases your chances of getting into the program. They're able, because let me tell you something, every semester, if you do a master's, on your tuition alone for the 4 semesters, that is an investment of over $45,000. That was at the time I did master's. Dr. O may give us a better estimate now, but that was as at 2009 that I started my master's. I did my master's between 09 and 11. It might have increased, but I'm telling you, as at 09 to 11, so a lot of things have changed. So somebody that wants to invest that amount of money on you must be able to place a bet. So you doing a GRE gives you a leverage, and it increases your chances of getting into many more schools. If it's about GRE materials, they are very good GRE materials. I'm going to place my email in the chat box. Send me an email if you need good GRE materials. We can talk about it. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And see, everybody in my mentorship group now is a requirement for every one of them to do the GRE, because we don't want to leave any stone unturned. And that is part of the reason why we're doing this SOP writing. And everybody will agree with me that Dr. O has actually taken us to class today. Yeah, Samuel Oluwayemi, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I've heard a lot of insightful information tonight.
Samuel, can you speak up? I can barely hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. I said thank you very much for the insightful information. I've really gained a lot. But something still confuses me. I'm still trying to figure the key differences between a personal statement and a SOP. Because from the intro doc opened for us, this particular statement of interest, it was beginning to sound like a personal statement, like we could read stories, we could read statements that were personal to the writer before we got to the main other section of the essay. And the other thing is I just graduated from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. So I'm hopeful to get a graduate funding. So I really don't know how to go about that. I'm still confused. I'm naive, though I will be graduating with a first class because my final result has not been released.
Okay. Don't worry. Which discipline?
Animal production and health.
Are you in my mentorship class?
No, sir. No.
Don't worry, you are admitted. Send me an email. I've placed my email on that.
Okay.
So Benson and Co, we are having a new something, but in our group, you must obey the rules. If
sure.
you don't obey the rules, we kick you out.
I promise.
Benson will tell you.
Another thing I want to
Yes,
tell you,
sir.
FUTA has a good reputation in the US.
Yeah.
Oh my God. FUTA has, I am starting to feel like when university sees FUTA graduates, they just want to admit them, because those that have gone before you, they have really proven themselves. Not in one university, I can tell you of about maybe 3-4 universities where FUTA students have really blazed the trail. And I mean blazed the trail. If any FUTA students apply to FAMU now, I don't think they would think twice before giving them the admission.
Yeah.
Florida A&M University, oh my God, I don't think they would think twice. And I've seen some other universities like that.
She just gave you a pointer.
Yeah.
So just send me an email and we go from there. Benson.
Yes, sir. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
I think I need to answer Samuel's second question about personal versus statement of purpose.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
So, a personal statement, you write it when schools specifically ask for it, then you separate. Some schools will specifically ask for personal statement and statement of purpose. When they do that, for your personal statement, you can write something like the one we're looking at now, which is your story. But wait, the thing is, the personal statement is more focused on, one, your story, the story behind it, like how this person got into, this nice story about how I got into advertising. I just visited a friend. That's a good story to start with in a personal statement. The other thing is that you follow up with. Now, if this was a personal statement, I won't talk about all the account management, all the other things. No, I will go now into what makes me, how I can handle pressure, my time management skills, how I
Okay.
can do things with or without supervision. Those are the things you're
Okay.
looking for in your personal statement.
Statement.
They
Okay.
want to know that you're not the student that the moment your supervisor turns their face, you have left the job, you're not doing it again. They want to be sure that you're not the kind of student that your supervisor will be asking you, have you done this? This was due yesterday. You were supposed to send me this. You were supposed to send me that. No.
Okay. Okay, ma.
So when universities do not ask specifically for personal statement and all they ask for is a statement of purpose, this is what you should do. A little bit about your personal and a lot more focus on your skills, your achievement, your academic preparedness for the research itself, for the academic thing itself.
All right. Okay, ma.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If all they ask for is statement of purpose, just one paragraph about your personality is fine.
Personal.
The rest
Okay.
should focus on, I'm a first-class student and I took this class and I did this research and, you know,
Okay.
and I did this internship and these are the things I did on the internship that are directly related to, you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
yes, I
not
do.
one
Yes.
paragraph about, I work well under pressure, I take initiatives, you know, and this is an example of when I took, you know, like basically saying psychologically, mentally, emotionally, I can handle any pressure.
Yes. Okay.
But when they ask separately, you know, your personal statement should focus on your personality.
See. Okay.
When they don't, just make a little reference to it in one of the paragraphs so that it is balanced.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma. So, ma, that means a personal statement does not really hit on.
No. When they specifically ask for that, at that point, they want to meet your person. The personal statement, when they ask specifically for it, they want to see how well of a team player, how personable you are. I don't know if that makes sense. How personal, have you seen people that are brilliant, but nobody wants to work with them? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, Dr.
Okay, good. I don't know if someone can still hear me.
I don't know whether he has issues with his
I think
yeah.
something happened from his end right there. I hope he can
Okay.
still hear me, but you know, so there are times that people are brilliant but they're not people that anybody wants to work with because their personality is just some kind. So the personal statement is where you talk about your personality as a team player, as a team worker, as an independent person, a mature person, or someone that takes initiative, someone that is responsible, you know, ready for higher responsibilities beyond undergraduate level.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ho.
Okay.
Yeah. Benson.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, thank you, Dr. O, for making out time to give us this very vital information about SOP. And Dr. Bola, I appreciate your time and your efforts. So I understand this webinar is basically about SOPs, but I want to ask something quite away from, still on writing, but not particularly SOP. So it's a part of grad school application that I wasn't really aware of, I wasn't really focused on until I applied to a school sometime last year, Purdue University, and it's about diversity statements. I struggled with it. I really struggled with it. So I had to bring it up here just in case I come across it again in the schools I would be applying to for next fall. How do you write a diversity statement? You may not answer all the questions tonight because of time, but if we can have something like this again, I would like us to bring it up. Then the second question is, for those of us that may not want to do WS evaluation, what's the easiest way to convert our 5.0 GPA to the United States 4.0 scale? These are two questions I want to have answered.
Dr. Bola will answer that question, the West thing. Did you get that? You know, that's his own area of expertise. Mine is diversity statement. Let me ask you a quick question. What does diversity mean to you? When you hear diversity, what comes to your mind?
I would say basically the difference in a race, in a background, in a different I think sexuality too has to do with it.
Very good answer. I
All that, yeah.
just wanted to be sure that you're not thinking of diversity just in terms of culture.
No, not just that. No.
Good. So your diversity statement is basically focused on how much you include other people's perspectives in the things you do.
Inclusivity, inclusion. Okay.
Not that you have to accept it, right? How much? Okay, let me not the word inclusive. Delete that.
Okay.
Thank you. Say how much you give respect to other perspectives, other opinions as it relates to whatever you're doing.
Okay.
And it could be because let's see, we may be doing research and my approach to it is statistical and your approach to it is mixed method, right? And we're on the same research team. We have diverse views on how we should analyze this thing. How do you accommodate? How do you view diversity? Do you understand? I think one of the core reasons why some universities require that is because they want to be sure that this is a good team player. Because there are students that are very dominant. I have them in my classes a lot. Sometimes I shut them up. When I put them in groups, you can tell that they're the ones dictating everything that every other group member is doing. So whatever they submit is entirely their own view and they dismiss everybody else's view. So sometimes I just shut them up, not like in a rude way, but I let them realize that, you're very dominant, which is not good. Your perspective cannot be the only good perspective. Your approach cannot. So how do you balance it out? Do you understand that?
Yes, madam.
You can give a good example of how you've had to work with someone with maybe from a different academic background, from a different research background, and how you were able to reach a compromise and get and get the current research to to a fruitful end, despite the fact that you have like different, research backgrounds. I've had to work with people who are purely quantitative. Me, I know math, but I don't like it. If you give it to me by force, I will pass it because I will pass it. I'll do all I can, I'll pass it. Yeah. But if you can afford not to, if this cup can pass over me, that's the way I react to math. But I've had to do research with people who are very quantitative, and I'm highly qualitative. I have a preference for qualitative research. Do you understand that?
Yes.
But we were able to arrive at a mixed method together, where we have the quantitative part, we had the qualitative part, and I actually bought this software that can convert my qualitative whatever into the quantitative, and things like that, just to make sure we have a balanced. So at the end of the day, it ended to be a good paper because now we have both perspectives, people from, the numbers and the, the in-depth interpretation, and it ended up being a very good paper. So diversity is not just about culture. It's not about how you work with people from Asia or how you work with people from India. It's also how you are able to accommodate differences without being disrespectful, to make sure that teamwork gets done properly. So diversity statements usually are like 1 page.
Okay.
They won't usually ask for 5 pages, They just want to know that this person is open-minded.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. They just want to know that you're open-minded. And the best way to prove that you're open-minded is to give a good example of, a situation or an instance that you've handled diverse views or diverse research approaches, or could be at the workplace or on a research, or and things like that. But make sure when you're writing that don't make any specific references to people's gender or whatever. It can trigger certain things because the person reading it may not. Try to avoid, just leave it open, like just talking about perspective and approaches. Don't be so specific about somebody from India and then somebody from, be diplomatic, you get it.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
what that's the
diplomatic.
part I
We have like
struggled with.
Nigerian politicians. You know the way
That's
they
the part I
avoid,
struggled with. Yeah.
yeah, be diplomatic.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. O. Oh, Dr. O is not in public health or social sciences, but I know she has done, she's an associate professor of communications. And she has done health-related research, you know. Yeah, Dr.
Just
O, do
in
you want to
health
talk about?
communication, not public health, not the clinical aspect of public health. So I can't say anything about that. What I do is health communication. I focus on the science of communication, not the communication of science. So public health is like how you communicate science. And mine is to teach you the science of communication, how to communicate, even when you are in health. Am I making sense? Like how should the doctor communicate better to their patients so that the patient...
She's asking that because you said mixed method approach.
Oh, mixed method here is basically talking about both qualitative and quantitative research. Do you get that? Which means I do both qualitative and quantitative research. If I have to do the math part of it, which I don't like, well, yeah, I do it and I do it well. But basically, that's what I mean by mixed methods. That's what they mean by mixed methods here. So if you hear that someone says they're a mixed methods researcher, it means they can do both qualitative and quantitative research.
Okay. So Dr. O, Kemiki, can you go ahead with your question?
Okay. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to ask concerning last year. Okay, this fall, I applied to Clemson University, and just like the last person asked question on diversity, they had diversity, they had one on leadership experience, they had another one on volunteerism, things like that. So I got a bit confused because some of the things that I wanted to write, they were already in my SOP. So I didn't know how to either replicate it, avoid the ones in the SOP or expatiate them. And then also I was torn between mentioning my positions and my roles. Like in the leadership, okay, the leadership positions that I've served before, or mentioning my roles or giving them specific examples. Then for the volunteering also, I had something of that nature. I didn't know what to really talk about. And even on Google, I tried to Google, nobody was really telling me something straight. So I just formulated something and gave it to them.
Okay, quick question. Does that school require GRE?
No, they did not.
That's why.
Oh.
Some schools are no longer requiring GRE, but the things they are now putting there, in fact, I mean, you would prefer to go and just write the GRE, JJ.
I went through a lot.
Do you get it? Some schools, because of COVID, they stopped requiring GRE, but the things they are now putting in place of the GRE, you will prefer to just go and write the 4-hour GRE exam and come back and sleep. GRE is just maths and English. Do you get that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. So if they're asking for leadership, they're not asking you to just list your roles and say, I was the team lead for this. What did you lead your team to achieve? How did you manage your team? That's what they are looking for there.
Okay.
And volunteer experiences, Dr. Bolaño, I think you can help with that. So volunteer experiences are basically looking at, they're trying to see what are the social causes, human causes that you are committed to. Just to be sure, these people will come up with, in fact, I won't be surprised if they start asking for religious commitment itself, because the moment you go to schools that are no longer requiring GRE, just be ready to submit something. They will put something in replacement of it, so that the admission process is not watered down and becomes like so cheap and everybody's just coming in. Do you get that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So be ready to write all those things the moment you avoid schools that require GRE, especially.
Yeah, so that's why I tell you guys it's safe to write the GRE so that you can avoid all these things. So I just want to quickly respond to Benson's questions. There are a lot of there are other bodies that that can also convert your GPA from Nigeria or whichever country you're coming from. They can convert it into the US scale. I think one is NACES, but I'll do more research on them and I'll let you guys know on our platform. But there are a lot. It's just that it's West. I think NACES. Yeah, I think so, Benson. There are many bodies that do that, but West is the most, common that a lot of people use and things like that. Yeah. So that is it. Winnie, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening once again. Doc, I'm asking this question regarding writing samples. Okay, now based on my research for the schools, they are requiring that writing samples should be on the course of interest I'm going into, if I'm not mistaken, or some sort of publication or article. Yeah, I've come across that. So you said I can use my degree thesis, I should reduce it to the number of pages they want. Now, I had my first degree on English and literary studies, and I told you I wanted to go into women and gender, or you said I should try communication studies. Now I'm tailoring my my searches for school on those two courses. So I want to know now, am I supposed to rewrite a new writing sample, or I should still use the one I have? Then I should write to the graduate school and tell them this.
All right.
Is that okay?
Oh,
And secondly, regarding the GRE, like the schools do not also need it for communication and women and gender. But I want to write it, but my challenge is the math. It's not easy for me. Like I've never passed math all my life, so I don't know if I should go ahead with it. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. O will be answering that question because she had a bachelor's. She has a bachelor's in English, and so she's the best person to answer the question.
yes, my bachelor's was in English and literature, and they also asked me for a writing sample. And guess what I uploaded? I uploaded my bachelor's project, my final year project. Simple. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
That's all I uploaded as
Okay.
my writing sample. But here is where it is. They will also read your SOP. So if your SOP is already justifying why you're moving from English into women and gender studies, do you get that? It would no longer matter to them that your writing sample is not in women and gender studies. And besides, the United States is not a place where what you do for your bachelor's is what you must do for your master's. They know that already. There are people in engineering I've had colleagues who did engineering in bachelor's and they did their PhD in communication, and up to now I'm still wondering, doesn't match. Are you coming all the way from engineering to communication? Well, whatever they wrote in their SOP, do you get that? Because I'm sure whatever writing sample they had was engineering related. Whatever they put in their SOP that convinced their admissions committee, kudos to them. So your writing sample, you don't have to go and make up something in women and gender studies. No. But be careful. I hope you, because I'm saying this not to run anybody down, but I know that when we were all doing research in Nigeria, back then, I don't know if it has changed now, but back then in those 2004, 2005, when I was in college, we were just writing anything and submitted. I was only lucky that I did not plagiarize, because if I had plagiarized, I wouldn't be able to use it for my graduate admission. Do you understand that? But I know that a lot of my mates copied and pasted. They went to get past projects from the library and they were just copying and paste pages from different people's projects and everything. That's what they put together. What saved me, I would say, it's not that I knew better then. What saved me was that my own undergraduate research was something that I was the second person doing research in semiotics in that area in my department at my university. So there was even nobody's past project that I would plagiarize. Okay. So I had to do my own work. And it's eventually paid off because then I could confidently upload that as my writing sample. So as far as writing sample is concerned, they just want, the writing sample is more like the evidence that you have done research, because as a graduate student, you would do some research. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the evidence that you've done a research from start to finish, you know, the sections of a research, introduction, literature review, data analysis, you know, data collection, data analysis, findings, and all those sections, and you just know the appropriate things to do. So yes, you can upload your writing sample from your undergraduate degree. And as far as math and GR is concerned, Dr. Balan will help you.
But you are in the same field now. So you can help.
You know, why we are different is me. It's just that I don't like math, but I know it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I know it.
Yeah, Doctor, what I want to ask you is this. When they are reviewing your application packet, do they lay emphasis on math since you're more of communication, or they focus more?
They focus more on the verbal, but you have to show a little, you have to show the basic in the math, because you would do quantitative research. And one thing is this, even if you study communication, it is compulsory that you take a statistics. In fact, you're going to take statistics and advanced statistics, compulsory. You cannot skip it. You cannot skip it. There's no school you go to, you are going to take research methods class. Even if you want to study music.
Yeah.
But what else? Even if you want to study Yoruba, you will do a research methods class, and it will be advanced statistics. You cannot avoid it. In America, you cannot avoid it. Even if you want to study sleeping, you will still do statistics and advanced statistics. So they want to be sure that you can handle it. So you have to pass the maths to a little extent. It's just like in the sciences, if they require like a 180 score for communication, they might require like a 150. It's a lower requirement, but you still have to meet the requirements.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor.
It's the sad reality for those of us in communication.
Okay, Doctor, let me quickly go. Somebody said to the Slido question, is it compulsory to include your name while starting the first paragraph of your SOP or personal statement?
All right, so here is the thing. Look at this person. They have their name as the header, so you don't have to re-put your name in the first paragraph. It depends on the format you choose.
Okay.
Some people don't use their names like this as header. Some will just say statement of purpose. If all you just say is like statement of purpose, and then you start without even introducing your name, then that's not right. Your name has to show up one way or the other.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Someone said, how long should a statement of purpose be?
Most universities will tell you how long they want it to be. If they absolutely do not tell you, like we said, they have a maximum of, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes to evaluate your entire packet, okay? Give them something that they can read convincingly in the next 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Do you get that? But most schools will tell you how long they want it to be.
Okay. Thank you very much. The third one says, can I start the introduction with a statement of problem that motivated me to pursue the graduate degree? E.g., according to Statistica, over 20% of babies die.
Okay. I think that depends. You get it? You can start with the statistics, but it has to be that example you gave. If you didn't give that example, it would have been easier to answer this question. According to Statistica, 20% of babies die from what? Do you understand that? And where? I would not advise that. I would just say that you should maybe you can use statistics to start. It's a good hook. We encourage that. I mean, starting any write-up like that, that's a good hook statement. Starting with statistics, starting with stories, starting with analogies, starting with anecdotes, that's all fine. But if you're using facts like that or quotes like that, it has to be really catchy. That one that you gave an example of is not catchy.
Okay.
It has to be really strong. I mean, dive from what? Is it all over the world or in just one area? And then basically let there be a progression. I wish you gave like a full sentence right there.
Okay.
Let there be a progression, because that phrase is not enough to tell me anything. So
Okay. Someone said, what is the best time to start cold emailing, Professor? I'll tell you, start from now. Start from now. So right now, that is that's all the questions. Dr. O, thank you for taking us to class. And I believe now that we have everything that we need as our prospective students to actually write a convincing statement of purpose. To all my mentees, this is the time for you to now start writing, giving everything that you know now. And I wouldn't say more than that. We'll be talking, every other discussion will be on the camera. I want to appreciate Dr. O for giving us a solid 3 hours of her time. She's very busy. She has a lot on her plate. And, the first time I wanted to do it, something came up, for you to know, but we thank God that we're able to, all come together and get this done. Probably we'll be providing the YouTube video. We still have to do some editing and things like that to get it done. And I want to appreciate everybody. But in my closing statements today, I'm going to tell you a story of when I started a master's in Nigeria before I left for the United States. When I started that master's, I wanted a PhD grade in order to continue for my PhD. And there was one of my professors. When he meets me on the corridor, he say, "Bolariwa karae." That is, read to stupor. And all he's trying to say, even though it was more of pushy, it was that, see, you want to put your best foot forward and get a PhD grade so that you are not regretting that I will have done things better. And that is what I want to tell all of you. I know some of us don't like math or something, but one thing I want us to note is if we devote time to this thing consistently, and that's why I shared, I told you about materials like the Manhattan GRE, the Magoosh, the KMFs. These are very good GRE materials that if you dwell on them long enough, and all they are teaching you are just, ways to solve all these questions very fast. They are basic math, but you don't have enough time. So they're just teaching you tricks, and all we need is to just spend time on this thing in order to be able to, get the required score and come in. And let me tell you something, people from all over the world apply to the United States, apply to Canada. And that is why it's important that we put our best foot forward. And if you look at, for all my mentees that have followed us thus far, we have left no stone unturned. I've told you about issue of references. Make sure that your references are people that you can vouch for, will give you good letters. If they cannot give you good letters, don't approach them. We've talked about the GRE. A lot of you guys, you've even formed a GRE group. You're working on your GRE, and everything now. Please let that continue. We've talked about SOP. This is the second SOP seminar. The one Dr. T gave to us and Dr. O gave to us is enough. We've talked about school search. I've told you to have an Excel sheet where we track all the requirements of these schools, and I'm going to be following up with you one-on-one. Most of you have called you, we've talked, and I'm going to be following up. We're going to be having Zoom calls from now onward, and I'm going to be asking you details of everything that you have done, So what I'm saying in essence is at the end of the day, we'll be having multiple offers and we will have a good problem of which one to accept. There was a guy whose younger brother just visited me on Thanksgiving and we spoke about school to apply to. This guy got admission and funding at University of Georgia, got admission and funding at University of Delaware, got admission and funding at University of Florida. He first accepted Georgia. Delaware came. He transferred his service to Delaware. Then Florida came. He had to transfer his service to Florida. He just got his visa approved last week. You know. So what I'm saying in essence is all these things that I'm telling you to do are things that I've told people to do in the past and we have gotten results. So please, everything I'm telling you, I'm not saying that I'm the Alpha and the Omega, but everything I'm telling you are based on experience. And everyone that have followed it, those that refuse to write the GRE, there was a guy that refused to write the GRE, was targeting Canada. First year, he didn't get into. Second year, he didn't get into. Third year, the US, I told him to apply. He eventually applied. His third year in a university in Ohio now. I'm not going to mention the university. You know, third year PhD chemistry. No, I think second year PhD chemistry in a school in Ohio. So please, I want us to follow all these things. Let's put our best foot forward, and I will be following up with you guys one-on-one. You know, so once again, I want to appreciate Dr. O, and I want to appreciate all of you for turning up, for spending so much on data to be part of this seminar. We'll be getting all these things, the recordings, probably put it on YouTube and share again. Thank you very much for coming, and I wish you all the best in your application process. Thank you. And Brother Sam, Dr. Sam, thank you very much for, you know, anchoring the Zoom and helping out when the ACA acts. Thank you very much. Yeah. So do we want to all unmute and say thank you to Dr. O?
Thank you very much, Dr. O.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. O.
Thank you.
Dr. O.
Thank you
It's my
so
pleasure.
much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
So to all my mentees, we have an agreement. Check our Telegram chat and we see you again, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. O. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.